We're back for more.
Hello, hi guys. We are back with
The final episode
of Journey to Us. So the reason why we really wanted to do this episode or these episodes is because we get different questions and compliments about our relationships about our relationship, and we feel that people see this final phase of where we are and how strong our relationship is now, and they don't see that every relationship goes through some things, and if you go through some things and you make it through those things, it only makes your relationship stronger. It makes your relationship as siblings, as parents, as husband and wife, as mother and daughter, as friends, regardless of the type of relationship, going through things and fighting through those things make your relationship better. So Jazmine wanted to share her testimony, and we also wanted to show that there was a journey to us getting to where we are today, and that journey didn't happen overnight. It took a while, and it took a lot of work, and it took a lot of prayer, and it took a lot of time. And in the process we developed, we really got an opportunity to prove our love for each other, to prove our understanding of each other, and our trust, to build trust in each other, and trusting God and His love for us, individually and together as mother and daughter. So that is one of the reasons why we wanted to share a story, and we wanted to encourage families out there. We wanted to encourage mother and daughters. There's this saying that says mother and daughters have a bad relationship when the relationship gets to a certain point, and we just want to kill that narrative, and just to show and just to say that regardless of whatever you're going through, you can work it out as mother and daughter. You can come together, combine your efforts, and fight the enemy and win in anything, whether it be emotionally, financially, spiritually, physically, whatever it is. It could be sickness, it could be mental issues, whatever it is. You and your daughters can come together and work together. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about just our process through this whole thing, right? When I say process, I mean what I was going through, what you were going through during this time, and how did we fight for our relationship? How did we make the fight? Like in the beginning of the series, we were talking about how I saw our relationship versus how you saw it. Mm-hmm. I felt like you can come to me and tell me anything, but you didn't feel that way. So because you didn't feel that way, you kept a lot of things from me, and you just didn't view our relationship the same. And so there was a disconnect between us, right? Yeah. And somewhere in the middle of you praying and me praying, we were able to meet in the middle, and God was able to reveal the truth, which is that we love each other and we support each other and we're here for each other through anything. We can take on anything and win, right? So my process of that, or my end of that, the way how I processed through this entire journey was really just being still and trusting God. I knew the Jazmine that I had as a baby, and I watched you grow, and I remembered, who you were at your core. And I knew that this was a battle that you had to fight, and I so badly wanted to fight it for you so many times. But I knew that it was something that you wanted to fight, and I knew that it was a battle that you can win. From the very first letter, I placed all my trust in God. I trusted God from the beginning, and I asked Him for the courage and the strength to navigate the process in a loving way. I didn't want you to feel any shame. I didn't want you to feel abandoned in any way. I wanted you to know that you are my daughter and I love you. I love your soul. I want your soul to prosper. Above everything else, I want you to have peace. I want you to feel loved, And so me walking through that process, I didn't feel like I have a lot of people in my life that I could turn to that was going through, because people don't normally share these things with you, right? And as parents, you feel like you have to have all the answers. And when you run up on something that you don't have the answers on, you just get stuck, you know. So thank God I had very close friends and my mom, and even to some degree I was limited with what I shared with my friends. And my friends were so good in the sense of they didn't ask any questions. They knew the general situation and they were like, we're going to pray and God is going to work it out. We don't need to know the details. Oh, this is what it is. We're going to pray about that. And my mom, on the other hand, my mom was like, we're going to pray specific prayers. we're not going to let her fight this on her own. So I had prayer, I had community, I had people that I could be vulnerable with as the Holy Spirit allowed me to be vulnerable. I had moments when I broke down and cried because I could see the hurt and everything in you. And the Holy Spirit through this entire time just told me to love you. Just to love your daughter, encourage her, remind her of who she is, remind her of her character, remind her of, you know, all the beautiful things that she embodies. Because I can see that you were just struggling with so many different things. And was it always easy? It wasn't always easy, because there were times when I had to look at you and physically remind you of who you are. And I had to say, I know you more than anyone else. And I know who you are on the inside, you know, and that's how I dealt with it. You know, much prayer, community, prayer, some more prayer, and a lot of faith. And this really, it built my faith up for my other children and whatever they go through. So that's how I walked through it. And I wanted you to know, I saw the end and I knew that you were coming out of this. And I saw you sharing your testimony, and part of that testimony, I always felt like I wanted my daughter to be able to say that she went through something serious, and her mom did not leave her to fight by herself. Her mom was there with her every step of the way, and I wanted her to say that she have a mother that truly loves her. It was bigger than how I feel or what I think or my belief and all that stuff. It was truly about the love that I have for her, because God makes us feel convicted, but he don't ever make us feel like crap.
Yeah.
And I wanted to embody that. I wanted you to know through it all, when the testimony was said, I wanted you to say, my mom may have told me the truth at times, but I never felt like she didn't love me. I never felt like she didn't support me. I never felt like I wasn't honorable or beautiful or, you know, so that was my process in it. And that was me, like, I'm here. I digress now. So you can share. So.
I just want to say that you putting your, I could see the point when you put all your trust in God. Like, I remember there was a whole thing when we were in high school. You sat us down and you were talking to us about how you found out we were going around telling people that we were bisexual or something like that. And I remember you sitting down with us and you looked so disappointed. You were yelling at us and basically telling us, we're going to go to church more. We're gonna get up early, and we're going to be praying and saying confessions and stuff. And I was just so over it. Like, I just didn't want to hear it. I remember you looking me in my eye, like, oh, so your spirit man is strong, huh? Your spirit man is going to stand here and stand me in my face. And I was just like, maybe he is. But I don't know what you're experiencing, what you're going through at that moment, that specific point. But I just know when I gave you that letter, I could see the change. Like, I think after that moment of giving you the letter, I don't want to say you eased up, but your intensity was directed in another place, I guess.
Because when I heard that, I didn't even know that there was truth to it, right?
Oh.
So when I heard that, I thought that you guys were being funny, you know, and I thought that you were just callously, like, you know, just like, oh,
thoughtlessly just throwing out there.
yeah, just throwing stuff out there, and just, I don't know if there was a part of me that was in denial, But I honestly felt like you guys were just being mischievous and just going around saying anything. So I wanted to let you guys know that you're not going to just walk around saying anything. We go to church. This is what we believe. And don't do that. Don't make a joke of this whole thing. I felt like, because Jonathan came and told me, Mom, the twins are saying this. So I was like, there's nothing funny about this. Is this? No. Stop saying that. Stop doing that. We're going to go to church. We're going to read. You're going to know who you are. Because in my mind, it was like, let me fix this. You don't know the seriousness of what you're saying. Let me, maybe I need to, how should I say this? I was thinking maybe I need to get more serious about our relationship with God. I felt like at that point, you guys didn't know that a relationship with God is serious. It's a serious thing, And I was like, we're going to go to church more. We're going to start saying our confessions. I felt like at that late point is when I really took the time to really say, it's one thing to grow up in church, but it's the next thing to have a relationship with God. And I think when you guys were saying that brought to my mind, you guys need a relationship with God. We need to make sure we're going to church. We need to make sure we're doing certain things, not to beat or hit anything out of you, but more or less just to say, you guys think this thing is a joke? We're going to church for a joke? You think that you could just walk around and say anything? Okay, no. So we really got to get serious about our relationship with God now. I see it now. I wasn't praying with you guys as much at that time, and I wasn't doing certain things. And I was like, oh, no, we're starting to go to church. We can do our confessions. We can get up in the morning. We can pray and we can think. But I think when I got that letter from you, I was like, this is not a joke. This is serious business. And at that point, I knew that only God could help me. And I knew at that point that this is serious and I need to be very careful about how I navigate this. So yeah. Toss it back over to you.
Okay. How I handled it. My process was, first of all, admitting that I couldn't do it by myself. I just thought, in asking for help, that would mean I would have to admit that I did something wrong. And I was just like, I didn't want to, first of all, I didn't want to talk about what I was going through because I was already ashamed. The devil was already making me ashamed. So I didn't want to reach out for help. Then I'll have to explain it to somebody. And then on the second part of that, I didn't know who I could talk to because at the time I didn't want to tell you. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to burden you with that. But I knew I couldn't tell my friends because they would give me the advice I wanted to hear, but they wouldn't give me deep, truthful, honest answers about God. They didn't have that relationship with God like you had. So it turned me back around and pointed me back to you. And I was like, at the end of the day, I was like, how bad do I want this? How bad do I want to get out of this? It was really bad. So I was like, I got to put all my pride aside and I got to tell you. And it wasn't even as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you, and I just remember you never stopped showing me that you loved me. You weren't even disappointed in me or anything like that. And that just really made me very happy. And I knew I could keep coming back to you, and I knew you were actively looking for a way to help me because you knew you couldn't help me in that specific area of my life. So you were looking for somebody who could relate to that or could help me out, to say the least.
I wanted someone that you felt comfortable enough. Because even though I can have certain conversations with other people and other teens and stuff like that. Because I've had this conversation with people that I've worked with before, right? But I didn't feel like, even though you knew that I love you and I supported you, I didn't feel like I was the person. I was too close to the situation. Mm-hmm. And you didn't want to disappoint me. So you didn't want to be 100% honest with me.
Yeah.
So I know more than you being honest with me, the thing that was the most important thing was you being okay. And that's when I said, do you want me to get you some help? Do you want to talk to a counselor? I was like, do you want to talk to somebody? Apart from me, I don't have to know anything that you talk about. And I don't have to be at the sessions with you. You can go there by yourself. And I can do that for you. I can get you some help. I know you want some help. I can get you some help. And you said yes. And I was like, okay, dude. Ain't nothing but a word. We can do it. And I got on the phone that same night and I made some calls and I, found, oh my gosh, just the most beautiful woman in the whole wide world. Yeah. And we met and we talked and I introduced you to, and the rest was history, Yeah. And I tried my best not to ask any questions when you came home. I just asked, are you good? And you would say yes. And that was it. And we were good from there, you know.
And I think she helped a lot. And also removing everything that was connected to to that lifestyle. So the shows I was watching that had all of that same-sex relationships in it, the music that I listened to that was very perverse and inappropriate, the people that I followed on Instagram, I just removed all of that from my radius. And like I said, took a break from Instagram, took a break from really everything. I think I turned off my phones a few times and everything, and I just spent a lot of time with God. Talking to God, praying to God, asking for help. Because all the while I was getting help, oh my gosh. I did something really stupid, and I was beating myself up about it because you know how they say, don't do stuff where you work. So that's what I did. So all the while I was trying to heal, I have to come in every day and see this person that I used to have this relationship with while I was trying to get help. And it was very, very hard. It was really hard. There was some days I didn't want to go in. You can ask her, we need to quit. Like, this is too much. Go to a new place, start fresh. But
God wanted you to heal there.
God
he wanted you to win that fight right there.
Look it right in the eyes and say, you used to have me, but now you don't anymore.
I'm free.
I'm free. And that was really the hardest part about it. Because every time I came into work, I just could feel the devil saying, you see that? That's a reminder of where you went wrong. Every day you come in, you're going to see this person, and you're going to be reminded of it. And that's what I really talked to my therapist about. And she was just like, don't be ashamed, because God knew you were going to fall short. We all fall short, and we're not our mistakes, essentially. We're who God made us to be, and the devil is the only one that will get you to see yourself as a mistake. And and then she also told me about forgiving myself, because for the longest while, I beat myself up. I was like, why would you do this? You know right from wrong. You know what's right. You know what's wrong. You know where your relationship with God stands, and you still went and did that stupid thing. And more than anything, even after I got over those relationships, I had to fight even more to forgive myself and to not be ashamed of myself, to carry myself in confidence. I think that's what was showing when I walked around and just faced different people. Y'all were seeing me beating myself up, me being hard on myself, and once I finally let that go, the rest came naturally, came easier.
Wow. That's good. And I'm glad you're in that different space right now. What would you say to anyone who's struggling with identity issues?
If you hear the voice of God, don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. Follow his promptings, as hard as it may be. Be very mindful of what you put in your mind, what you watch, because those things, you may not feel it immediately, but those things do stay in your mind and they manifest in different ways. And the more you listen to it, the more you tap into it, the stronger it is. And stay in your word. Even if you don't stay in your word consistently, keep talking to God, keep praying to God. It may not sound like or feel like he's listening to you, but he is. He always is.
That's good. That's good. And for parents that's dealing with children who are facing identity issues, I don't know how many of you may have a relationship with God. I feel like my process was a little bit easier because I knew that God was on my side, and even when it was hard, I still trusted Him. And I still knew that the testimony would be great. I would say find you a scripture to stand on and stand on that scripture. Believe that God hears you. He hears your petitions, that He has allowed things to happen for a reason, and you can come out on the other side. But walk in love, because everyone have something that they're dealing with. Everyone have something that they're going through, but you always want to walk in love towards your children and just keep reminding them of who you know that they are. And trust God. Trust God with the process. Just trust God. It's not an easy process to walk out, but so is dealing with anything else with our children. You know, all the different things that our children go through from time to time, any of it at any given time could bring us to our knees. If you think about it, children skipping school, drinking alcohol, having sex, getting pregnant, smoking weed, not getting a job, just all the list of things that could happen. And sometimes just stealing the car, I'm just thinking about just things that happen as our children grow from children into teenagers, into young adults, and just basically finding themselves and finding who they are. They're all things that can drive us crazy, and they're all things that can, catch us off guard and make us feel like we don't know how to. But God has equipped us for our children. God has equipped us with everything that we need to fight for them. We just have to make sure, like our children, we're engaging the right thought process. We're watching the right things. We're listening to the right things. We're listening to the right music and songs, because these things affect us as parents too. What we put our eyes on. And if we only forecast doom and gloom, then that's the only thing we're going to have. But we have to forecast life. We have to see our children living healthy, prosperous lives. And we just cannot give up on that. We have to keep believing until we see what we are believing God for. So that would be my encouragement to you. Let me see. I want to talk about how our relationship has grown through all this. Do you think now, have I proven myself that I can be trusted? No, honestly. How do you feel about our relationship now? Do you feel like you can trust me with anything? Do you feel like you can come and talk to me about different things?
Yeah, really telling you that was one of the hardest things I've ever had to tell you. And you have proven yourself. You have proven yourself. I will say that. If you would have responded any other way, I probably wouldn't be this close to you as I am now. But just growing in this, working together, after I told you, I was confident that I could keep coming back to you and talking to you and stuff, and that I didn't have to hide anything from you.
Yeah, because you would even come back and tell me when you're like, Mom, I'm having a rough day.
Yeah.
Or Mom, whatever the situation was.
She would come through to work whenever I was texting her, and that just really made me happy to know that I had someone in my corner who was fighting for me as I was fighting too.
I used to randomly drive through the drive-through. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm checking in because I knew how hard it was for you. Yeah. To be right there at work and having to fight your giant every single day. Slay your dragon every single day. And so sometimes I just came to the drive-thru and get an ice cream cone, just came through and get nothing, just ride through, talk to you for a second and do anything,
You come through and give me encouragement, tell me to keep praying, to keep asking God for what I want. And that, I'm so thankful you did that.
I'm so thankful you allowed me into that space. I know that, I don't take that for granted, because I know that you could have shut me out completely.
And I tried, trust me, I tried, but you would not budge.
No, I was not going to give up on you, kid. I was not going to give up on you, kid. I was determined to show you that I love you. Just that same reckless love that God has for us, that it hunts us down, and He would climb the highest mountain, and He would kick down any door, and He would leave the 99.
Yeah.
I wanted you to see that love is real. And I was so humbled that God was able to use me as a vessel to show His love for you, And I'm thankful that He gave me the capacity to stand in it and carry it so that you could feel His love, and you can know that you had support, and you can know that surely God loves me. I'm thankful that I was able to be used like that.
Yeah, you were the voice of reason in that time. I remember a specific moment. You walked into my room, and I was on FaceTime with one of these girls, and I panically hung up the phone, but it was too late. You already knew, and you came in and sat down next to me, and you were like, you just told me the cold hard truth. You're like, you keep playing with fire, you're gonna get burned, and you can't. You told me you cannot keep doing what you're doing, something along those lines, and that was a very sobering truth. And I just remember you always say stuff like that. You always talk to me whether I wanted to hear it or not, and I couldn't tune it out because it was already be in my head, even if I wasn't actively listening, and that was always something that I had to think about every time I did what I was doing. Every time I went to sleep, the last thing that would be on my mind was those words.
And that's how it should be. You should, whether it's that, or whether it's stealing, or whether it's, I don't know, hurting people, or whatever the situation is. When you're in a relationship with people, you should be able to tell them the truth in love. You should be able. So loving someone doesn't mean that you don't have to share what is truth, and it doesn't mean that you don't have to hold them accountable, or you still don't have to tell them the things that they want to hear. Actually, love is the other. Support is the other. For me to support you, I have to be honest with you. I have to tell you the truth. For me to support you, I have to do it in love, I don't have to always tell you what you want to hear to show support of you. I can tell you the truth and show support of you too, Mm-hmm. And I wanted to tell you because I knew how hard you were fighting. And I wanted to say, you're fighting a fight. Direct your ammunition towards the opposite end. Don't shoot it at yourself. Don't hurt yourself in the process. Like if this is the fight that you take on, this is the fight that you want, keep fighting that fight. Don't turn around and hurt yourself in the process. And these are the things that if you're trying to get over something, you have to stay away from, and it goes with anything else. Even it comes back to vision. If you have a certain vision for your life, that's the reason why you expose yourself to the things that's going to take you closer to that vision, right? And if you want to go south, but you're going north, you're never going to get south. So somebody have to tell you, hey, turn around. North is that way. That's where you said you want to go, right? Okay, this is the way you got to go to get there. If not, you're going to be going farther away from where you want to be. So I just always wanted to do that gently. And I would still hug you and kiss you and tell you that I love you. But I want you to trust that I will tell you the truth, regardless of whatever. And the older you get and the more mature you get, you realize and you value the people who's going to tell you the truth, irrespective of how you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, that is it. That is That is Jazmine's testimony, our testimony. This has been Journey to Us. This is how we got to the place where we love each other, we value each other, and we support each other. And
we hope we were able to help you guys.
Yeah, and you guys can do it too.
Yeah.
Yep. So if you have questions, if you need, so where you are at now, Jazmine, as we're wrapping up, where are you right now?
Still trusting in God, still praying to God. I'm so far out of it. Every now and then the devil will place little tempters, but I know I'm strong in my relationship with God, and I know just rebuke those thoughts. Mm-hmm. Come to God, keep praying to God. So I'm fully invested in this relationship with God. In my relationship with you, I know that as soon as I know something's off, I know I can come to you and ask for your advice and stuff. So that's where I am today.
That's good. So if you guys have any questions, or if you guys need help, or navigating difficult situations. It doesn't only have to be what we've shared today, but it could be anything, or if it is what you shared today and you need someone to partner with you, if you're a parent, you need someone to partner with you in prayer, we would definitely be willing to do so. So yeah, just write us, just our comments, put some stuff in the comments. Or email us. We're going to share our email address and our Instagram and click, share. I don't know at this point. Everything. So we love you. It's been real. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much
have
for
a good
tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.